Welcome to Two Psychics. This is Michael Edley, evidential medium and mystic, discussing all things spiritual.
Hello, I'm Mary Amy of Two Psychics, an intuitive wisdom coach, tapping into your mystical life and sharing messages I receive about you.
What is up, everyone? Such a pleasure to be here tonight with Two Psychics podcast. I am Michael Edley, psychic medium, and I am here with my amazing co-host, Mary Amy. What is going on, Mary Amy? And I have to say, that was an incredible new intro. So for those of you seeing that for the first time, like I was, awesome. Yeah.
Well, thank you. How is everyone tonight? Welcome. Here we are. It's episode 98. Oh my goodness gracious. It's July 16th. I'm on the East Coast. I'm coming to you live from New York. And
Yes.
I'm an intuitive wisdom coach, a Reiki master, an ordained minister, and an author.
With a new book almost on the way.
Yes. And I did take one of our interviews and I took a quote from that. And I'll have to send to you what your input is into my book.
Yeah, very cool. I usually have a lot of things to say, so I'm sure you could pick and choose some of the interesting things I've said over the episodes.
Well, you know what? I really liked what you said last week. So it's about the universe. Is that what it's about? I'm trying to remember. I'll show it to you.
Manifesting. I think we were talking a little bit about manifesting, and
it was about but it wasn't about that. It was something you said that was very beautiful. Whatever our topic, what you said, omnipresent, was it galaxy? It was galaxy, maybe. Galactic. It was about galactic.
Okay. Yeah.
And I really liked what you said.
Galactic, yes, the galactic connection. Yes.
I
All right, cool.
Anything that was repetitive. How when we speak, it's not how we when we are being interviewed, I guess. But tonight we have a intuitive coach, a telepathic connector, Kevin Young, and I don't know him, and he found us, and I'm very excited to hear about what he has to say. And our topic tonight is healers. Yeah,
interesting background he has, so we'll have lots of interesting things to talk about.
I think so. So our topic tonight is healers. Would you like to tell me what kind of healer you are?
You know what's interesting? So I like to that's how I like to approach it. Healer. I don't like to kind of pigeonhole myself into, I've studied and looked at all different types of healing modalities, and I can't say that I completely 100% align with any particular one, but I utilize different aspects of all of them. So, my first touching of like energetic healing, my first kind of dipping my toes was actually like shamanic Native American practices. So that was a very interesting thing. And that was very, very early on. I was probably, I don't know, maybe teens when I started, and that was actually through Boy Scouts. I was a Boy Scout. And the interesting thing was we ended up on an Indian reservation and we were sitting with this shaman. And the funny thing is, it's almost, we always talk about spirit kind of guiding you, or like a teacher will show when the student's ready, or different things appear, that you can learn from or help you grow. And I think as a kid, when I was having my own kind of conflict or trying to understand the spiritual realm, here I am as a scout and I'm on an Indian reservation, and this guy, this shaman is talking about, connecting to all things, and all beings are love, and, we should represent ourselves finally in the existence and coexistence of all these other realities that are around us. And I was like, as a kid, I was like, whoa, this is really, really interesting stuff. And I'm thinking, was this guy like just smoking a peace pipe, or like, what is this? But it was interesting, and it resonated with me. And it's something that sat. So I think healing is integral. But if we look at aspects of Reiki energy healing, we look at, laying of the hands, ancient charismatic Catholicism or Christianity. When we look at a lot of these Ayurvedic medicine, a lot of the healing energy around Ayurvedic practitioners, so there's a lot of different things we can draw from and learn from. And I know, like you, what do you think your most impactful aspect of healing? Because like me, I know you've also studied and kind of dabbled and learned about lots of different things. Like just look at not too long ago, you were in a teepee. You were, having this like shamanic energy experience. So I think we could take something from all of it. But what do you think? What do you think was like your most pivotal thing
Are you talking about? Well, probably accepting light and sharing about speaking about light. I mean, it has so many meanings, but I mean, for me, it's light coming from inside of your heart. It's light that you see in nature, sunrise, sunset. It's light from the sun. It's light from divine energies.
Yeah. So is that what you would say? Would you consider that like your divine connection, kind of opening and understanding that like I'm divine? I have this divine connection in me that not all people understand. Was that it though? Do you think it was like that understanding of I am divinely connected? Like, was that like a moment, or was it something?
I can be presumptuous.
Because it's interesting, because I can't say mine was like internal.
Yeah. Well, I think for me, it's more everything exists for me inside, and out here is secondary. So I believe that I'm here, like what I'm supposed to do is, no matter how it affects me, I'm supposed to share light with everyone and just talk about it. And when in 2017, I had this vision, and it was about light on the horizon, which is what I've said for a bunch of years about light on the horizon, good things are coming beyond your view, a difficult situation will improve. And I'd do this because I'd be looking through a window and I'd see a sunrise. And it's all about going to the light. It's kind of metaphorical, where you say I would say I see the light in the distance. I'm walking towards it. It's not giving off any heat. I don't know how long it's going to take to get there, but I know I'm supposed to go towards the light. So for me as a healer, I think healing for me is, yes, as a practitioner with different modalities, energy healing, the Reiki. It's also about writing and sharing a perspective and talking about it. So that's the kind of healer I am. Maybe just even heal people when they're suffering or they're talking about something that's upsetting, and being compassionate. That's healing. When I formally looked at this, about my book, I'm on the first edit, I guess you said, the first proof. So I'm good about that. And I looked into the healing. And, there's different kinds of healers. Healing is the ability to restore wellness, balance, health and wellness. And if you want to say an unconventional, you hope that a doctor can heal, but I don't know if a doctor can heal the way we're talking about. At least I'm talking about harmony in the system, balance in the system. And maybe that comes through with herbal or energy or, acupuncture or some kind of root cause that you have of an illness, suffering from spiritual, physical, or mental.
So what's interesting is what comes to me is some about your energy. And like when you're talking about this, it's something that resonates very deeply with me, because I think it was a similar kind of awakening for me. It was when you started to like trust yourself and see, that you were capable. It was almost like there was a process or like an unfolding, where an awakening where maybe you didn't trust yourself or trust what you were capable of creating and, manifesting. And I think for me, that was a process too. I didn't know, and I was unsure. And I was like, what am I capable of? And I didn't know if I trusted it, and there was a lot of uncertainty around that. And it was almost like, sometimes just taking that jump, that leap of faith. And I think for me, the interesting thing was, though, I was definitely looking for it a little bit outside myself, and I didn't realize how much of an inward journey I had to go to really get to the depths of my soul and truly understand myself. And that was, I guess, part of the process, not finding it out there and having to look and question things, and I think for you, you probably had a very similar experience too. We had these surreal interactions with the spiritual realm, near death experience, these spiritual connections, psychic, telepathic instances, different things that have occurred in our lives. And I think when you have that type of experience, you're certain that there's something else, and then it's just a matter of how can I open and find that, and how can I share that amazing connection with everyone else and show them how healing it can be. And I think that's what it was for me when I started seeing, wow, I can give back, and I can help others, or I can help others heal, or I could be part of the process and not use it as like completely self-gratifying, or not trying to in that process of giving back, of creating, and maybe trying to create something that others can heal from, like music, as you do with your art. And when we can find a purpose with our creativity, and we can put it out there and people can utilize it in a healing way, that is some of the most magical things that I think, as a soul here having a physical existence, that we can release into the physical realm. That creativity, it'll always stay. Think about the music and the art that's been here for like decades or centuries, and we could still appreciate it. We could still see it. We could still connect to the energy of it, and that's something like for you. What's interesting is, because when I think about you, the funny thing is I still see some of your paintings, and it's very interesting because when we had first met, I remember seeing some of them and I was like, wow, the more I look at these, it's very interesting seeing some of the energy that she must have connected to when this was unfolding. And then I would start connecting to certain energy or certain frequencies. And it's fascinating. Like, so I'm curious, when we're talking about healing, in doing your own art, like I would find my own healing in creating. I know you did too, but did you realize how healing like your art and your creativity would be once you put it out there for other people?
Well, thank you very much. For me, I don't know if I've had any other choice but to do what I'm doing. So I wasn't really looking at myself. I was just doing. So I was a doer for a really long time, and it was all action.
Yeah.
And I had to be a doer because I didn't want to look at the suffering and the trauma and the pain. So I just kept doing and creating. And thank you for saying that. I don't know. I mean, that would be great if that was the case. I'm excited because I started painting these illustrations for this book, and I don't know what's going to come out of me, because the last time I did a lot of art, like when I did, for example, I don't know if anyone's gotten my book, but like here's one of my butterflies that I painted, and I do watercolor, so I love it. And I don't know if it's healing. I just hope. I don't have a choice in what I'm doing. It's just I don't even want to say mission anymore. It's more like it's just who I am. I can't stop myself anymore.
Well, what's interesting though, when you talk about it in that way, and I have to think that in you putting that out there and finding your own kind of escape from whatever was going on, and that helping to release the energy and reground you, I would say that energy is probably imprinted into the art, and then other people can experience that same energetic release or that grounding that you experience creating it. At least that's what comes to me around it.
Well, that's sweet. You're very nice, Michael. You gave me a reading tonight. We have Heather on board. I don't know if she's still here. Heather, hi Heather. We know Heather.
What is up? I see we have a couple comments. What is up, Heather? What is up, Jennifer?
Hi guys. And we have Jennifer Rose. We had her on our show a few weeks ago, and she says, hi, Mary, Amy, Michael. Hi, girls. Nice to see you. Did you see me on TikTok? Because I did a little video before, because you never know who you're going to get. Let me tell you, TikTok is a big deal. TikTok's a big deal.
No, I'm a slacker. I'm a social media slacker. Everyone's got to get kicking me in the butt to get all my multiple platforms. Hopefully soon.
So let's see. Okay, we have a few minutes before he joins us. That's from Jennifer Rose right there.
You want to talk a little bit about Kevin and his background?
I guess we could talk about him. I do want to remind everyone, because I'm not going to say at the end of the show, just in case. We have an upcoming event. Michael and I are doing live. It's a 3-course dinner at Pelham Rails in Pelham, New York, which is 50 minutes outside of New York City. Up, we have somebody else. I'm going to say their comment. And it's a live psychic dinner show. So you can get a reading. We can teach you some intuitive psychic mediumship, psychic phenomenon at the event. We can give you personal reading. It's going to be very exciting. And Michael's coming up from the Jersey Shore, and I live in Westchester, New York, and it's in Westchester. So that's going to be great. We have Suzanne Young, who I think is Kevin Young's wife. Now Suzanne Savage. When you're painting, you are in the flow.
Suzanne.
Yeah, hello. We have 2 Suzannes tonight. 2 Suzannes. So we have Heather, Jennifer, Suzanne. I don't know if Heather's getting any readings going on here tonight. Let's see. When you are painting, are you in the flow? And that's why you can't stop yourself, because when you're in the flow with the universe, it always feels great. Probably. And Michael, you could tell me about your music. Hi, Michael, Mary, Michael, a great positive start to the show. Great. So tell us about when you do your music, Mike. What's it like for you?
Well, I'll talk about the last meditation album that I released, Divine Journey of a Mystic Soul. I actually went into a trance. Yeah, it's right there. So all that material, all that music, I was inspired by a close friend of mine's friend that had passed, and it was interesting. In that journey, I had met her briefly, but on this journey and where I was at, it was interesting. I met many people that really touched me immensely. And what was crazy is on this journey, I channeled, a medium who had passed away that was a friend of a friend. And we wrote a piece of music for one of our mutual friends that I gave to, it was, and I don't want to put any names out or anything right now. I'll keep it a little more private, but, so it was a friend of a friend. But the interesting thing was, through that, I kept connecting with her energy and wrote the whole Divine Journey of a Mystic Soul. So, and I'll talk about that a little maybe down the road. But yeah, her name was Robin, and it was, I had channeled her energy, and literally she was a fantastic musician and pianist. And there was stuff on there that I wrote that I don't think I could have played in my waking moments, but channeling all of it, I would go back and listen and be like wowed by, oh, I just played that. I don't know if I can reproduce that. And it was an interesting journey of just going through probably about 6 to 8 months of trance meditations and creating that whole album. So I was absolutely divinely guided and led to create that. And it is something that I incorporated hemisync and binaural tones. So a practitioner, a healer. So we're talking about healing tonight. Part of the process of healing, I think, is letting go of the human self and letting go of the ego and letting go of all that stuff that connects and blocks us to that divine energetic connection. Binaural beats and hemisync is a process that can help you get there if you're having a hard time meditating, or you feel like you have monkey mind and you can't quiet it down like the Buddhist monk. So hemisync binaural tones are incorporated all throughout the music. And the crazy thing was, I overlaid different things. I went into trance different times, and I didn't realize what was occurring till I went back and listened to it. And it was analyzed in different, through a spectrum analyzer and everything. And then we saw all this crazy hemisync and binaural tones all created throughout the whole mix of it. So it was really an unfolding, and it brought my creativity to another level. So I would have to say part of that process of letting go and just being that divine channel is probably when the most magnificent creative endeavors are going to flow through you.
When we had a guest on, Wilkins, what was his? Jamie Wilkins. He spoke about being a conductor and
exactly.
Writing his music through channeling. Did you identify that?
Yeah. So yeah, oh, absolutely. It was funny because I was connecting to a lot of like energy. A lot of times when you start getting into that zone, or you connect to someone that's also in that zone, you'll feel it. You feel it on an energetic level. And I was checking out some of Jamie's stuff, and he's absolutely channeling a lot of this. So really cool. I want to check out even more of his stuff, and we're friends now on social media and everything. So I can kind of keep an eye on what he's got going on. But some of it was really, really cool. And I think he's being led by spirit, and you hear certain things that are a little uncanny of how instruments are being used, or how arrangements are being done, and very, very cool stuff. So I have to say, and I think he had touched base on it, but he could probably even go deeper, about his trance channeling with that. But yeah, absolutely, I would say all artists and musicians are there, even if they don't realize they're there.
Okay, thank you. We have a comment, and then I'm going to speak about Kevin because he's in the green room. Our comment here is someone Brianna Irish said, "Hello, Mary Amy and Michael. Great album, Michael. I listen to you often.
Excellent.
Often. So this is what I'm talking about. Find it.
I appreciate it.
Site.
I will take the shameless plug.
It's okay to have that. I have thespirit.com. Okay, so who is our guest tonight, everyone? Episode 98. We've been doing this quite a while now. It's very exciting. Medium, psychic, medium. He's an intuitive coach, Kevin Young, telepathic connector. I can't wait. Kevin Young assists those moving through challenges to regain confidence, clarity, and direction and self-empowerment using spiritual alignment techniques. Kevin explains his philosophy by saying, "Whom I work with as a coach are highly sensitive individuals who have been misunderstood, criticized, or abused for being who they are. And many of my clients also have physical challenges, illnesses, body conditions in the body that develop over time. It is a direct reflection of one of the more of those adopted limiting beliefs." You speak about limiting beliefs all the time, Michael. Opening up your intuitive telepathic channel, Kevin has said, "I've come to discover that every physical being is a blend of physical and non-physical higher consciousness." Love that. "And when working in harmony can create experiences of joyful heaven on earth." Now, if you go to the description, either on Facebook or on YouTube, actually isn't on Facebook yet, I'm not sure, but you can look him up right now while we're having this interview. If you're interested, it's intuitivecoachkevin.com. He also is on Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube. So here we bring out, let's see how this is going to go because we changed the format. Let's see if he shows up right there. Hi.
Hi.
Hello, Kevin. Thank you for joining Two Psychics Podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Here.
What does this look like? Nope.
The three
We're
amigos.
trying it a little bit differently tonight. How are you?
Doing great. So excited to be here. I can feel the energy of your followers and you guys.
Oh, yeah. Good. Great to meet you tonight.
Absolutely. We appreciate you being here with us.
Yeah. Well, we are in a city called Novi, Michigan, which is just outside of Detroit, about 20 minutes. We are this area has the worst air conditions in the whole world because the fire is coming down from Canada. Yeah. The smoke is going like right through our city. It's like sitting in front of a campfire outside, no matter where you go. Yeah. Pretty crazy, but thankful for air conditioning and having a house to be in.
Oh,
yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, you're right in the thick of that. Absolutely. Because I know here on the East Coast down in New Jersey and on the shoreline, we're even experiencing quite a bit. Even today, you can't see the water if you're on the beach. Yeah. It's a haze. That the interesting thing is, I said to myself jokingly, like, what are they trying to cover up in the sky? Is there something going on up there? This is interesting. I don't remember even fires burning up in the Canadian forest as a child and growing up on the East Coast. I don't remember experiencing this. It's very bizarre. Very bizarre.
Yeah. Well, and you got to say that the earth consciousness itself does, just like us, it rebalances when things get out of kilter. So yeah. I'm not surprised kind of in that way. As long as we don't, have a tsunami or something come through Michigan, I think we'll probably.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I didn't know if that was real because we had it 2 years ago. We had it.
Yeah, we did.
2 years ago or 2 or 3 years ago, we had the same. It was so bad where I live in New York that it changed the color of the air to yellow. Yeah. And then, which was so weird, is the next day there was, what's that called when it's not snow, sleeting balls. Hailing. It was hailing balls this big, breaking windshields.
It's pretty crazy.
Whew.
That was
We don't want that.
I took
Yeah.
I think
video.
they're hiding some UFOs up there, Mary. What do you think? They're covering them up, but that's not
I don't
tonight's
know.
episode, Kevin. We're not dragging you there. Don't worry.
Are you into the UFOs, intuitive coach Kevin?
Oh, sure. Well, I'm into anything that bridges the physical, non-physical, and I listen to lots of different channels.
Oh,
I've
love
met
that.
a lot. I've coached a lot. I've had hundreds of channeling medium sessions and so forth. So it's like this is home base for me. I started out as a left brain person. I was listening to your interview with what's his name, Michael Phillips. Yeah.
Okay.
And he reminded me a little bit of myself in that he started from a scientific engineering left brain, background, and then, had his health challenges that kind of shook him up and his other personal things. And at some point you wake up and then what happens is you either end, you leave your body and that's it for today, or, you wake up and you have that next level of awareness. And that's kind of what happened to me. But coming from that, going from that.
So Kevin,
to this,
before we get into that of what's kind of gotten you here and how this is unfolded, let's talk a little bit about that journey. Now, many of us are exposed to something beyond the spiritual realm from like traditional religion or like a Christian upbringing or maybe a Jewish upbringing and they were into Kabbalah. So what was the background and what was like the family structure? Were you tuned into a spiritual realm from an early age, or was there any type of experience, or were you so scientific that you just had to challenge that? Or like, tell us a little bit about how this unfolded and how this journey has led you to where you are now. Yeah.
Door number 3. Yeah, that was I couldn't honestly tell you. My parents, my dad was open. He called himself agnostic, and he said, "I'd like to believe there's something more," but we never talked about it. My mom never talked about it. Period. So, and I think she was atheist, but again, we went to church a little bit when I was a kid, and they couldn't stand. It's probably the hypocrisy at the time.
Yeah.
A lot of churches have that. So no, we never really talked about that. My dad was an architect, engineering. My mom was a piano teacher and a carpenter, and kind of a Renaissance woman for the '60s when I was small. But no, it never really came up, and I was. So I moved into left brain because there was a lot of trauma in the childhood, like a lot of us. Something, is unsafe, and then you put walls around your heart, and then the only way you can survive, because you shut down the guidance, which is here, is up here, and you limp along, try to make sense out of the world from this limited human perspective, and it really but they keep getting worse if you're not being guided to. You guys are both tuned in pretty effectively from what I can feel, and so you can tell intuitively when something doesn't feel right. And I would assume then you're guided towards what does feel right and maybe around what isn't feeling right. But I didn't have the feeling part as much. And so I had to rely on my brain. And the brain, of course, only knows what it's been taught, mostly by other people and through experience. So you don't have the mountaintop view to know what the dangers are coming. And so I ran into a lot of walls. And ultimately that, as that grew and got more angry as a person, people could take advantage of me. I couldn't see it coming. And, I put my all in because I wanted the attention. I wanted, my dad didn't give me the attention. So, the story is you seek it somewhere else. A lot of relationships that go bad. I had some business relationships that I got taken advantage of. And all that was just because I didn't know what I didn't know. And that is that this part was numb from the abuse of the childhood. And it was the brain tumor that I had in 2008, which was that defining moment. And that's where within a week of the diagnosis of this brain tumor was a friend of my wife gave her 2 CDs from Abraham Hicks, and which we had never heard of. We had heard of the law of attraction, and that was the beginning at that point. I would say watching the movie The Secret maybe a year earlier, kind of like, oh, there's a law of attraction thing. That'd be cool. I'd like to know I'm creating my own reality. But, the left brain says, oh, come on. If it's not 3D scientific, able to be put in a formula and figured out, it's like you're born, if you get just going, then you die. And then you lose everything. That was kind of my philosophy. And that's when everything started to change in that moment. Did that answer your question? Or did I go off base?
Well, it could have been too. Your soul was needed to go through that process, or needed you to go through that growth before it had that breakthrough and that awakening. And
Exactly.
that's a cool thing. And I think that's something, anyone, and I think anyone here that's listening, anyone in checking out Two Psychics podcast that's kind of on this journey and maybe doesn't know where they're going, or feels a little misguided, or isn't sure, what would you say as far as, because I feel like for you were on this journey, career, so and at it from like a financial perspective, like, okay, I want to make, that will make me happy, or I'll feel fulfilled, or I'll look for that. And then you got there, and then maybe that wasn't fulfilling, or wasn't what you expected, or had these different things, and it's like your soul just kept pulling you back to, you need to experience this, or this is who you are, and we need to have this breakthrough. I feel like it was a process that kind of, you had to be dragged through a little bit, like all of us, to grow and learn. But it's putting you in this powerful position of understanding, and it's like that firsthand perspective of, I've been through it and I can see how powerful it can be. Now, one thing that we always get asked when someone's on this journey and they can't figure it out, or they're trying to figure out, how can I heal? Our topic tonight, healers, healing. You're obviously a healer, and that's the basis of what a lot of what you do, healing. So if someone's on that path to try to heal, and I'm leaving this very broad spectrum here, what would you say would be the first question to ask yourself, if I'm trying to heal, or I'm trying to find healing, or where is my journey going?
Yeah, stop trying. That's probably the first thing. Because if you're trying, you're in your human brain trying to accomplish a goal that you feel has to be set. You think about what we were taught all through kindergarten through high school, and the whole structure of sort of forcing us as kids to think this way, and there's right and wrong, good and bad, you fail or you pass. And so we get into that box of, I'm not doing good enough. Oh, there's other people ahead of me, when there's no comparison. You're infinite intelligence, each one of us. And so that's a big part of it. It's that attachment to needing to be someplace that I haven't gotten to yet in the future. And that measurement just came arbitrarily. It's something you learned earlier on to judge yourself. And they judge you. You took the baton, and now you judge you. And it's letting go of that. That piece is really, to me, is the first step. It's just stop being so hard on yourself. Let go of those shouldas. And when you can do that, you tend to come back. It's really letting go of, we can talk all night about this stuff. It's so fascinating to me. Learning to let go of the human brain's need to dominate your attention, so that the still small voice can be heard. And then that voice gets louder. And that's the voice that is on the mountaintop. And it knows what you want, because you've been telling it through your experience of life. So it's got this whole pile of stuff. Oh, Kevin liked that. He liked that. He liked that. He liked that. Let's send him guidance, because I can see everything towards all those things which are around him that will give him that next piece, that will light him up. No, the brain's really loud. No. We got to follow this limited path over here. Well, good luck with that. And so the more you follow the path of the brain, the more you separate from this guidance, and the worse you feel. That's we call it the emotional guidance system. Abraham Hicks calls it the emotional scale. That to me has been fundamental. Getting back into the heart, feeling, how does it feel? How does this thought feel? And then filtering out based on what feels good. And then just trusting that if I do what feels good in this moment, without attachment to where I'm going, again, that would be the brain, then something shows up. I get a synchronicity. And then, oh, that felt good. Let's do that again. So you sort of prove to yourself that you don't need the goals. You don't need the shoulda, woulda, couldas. You don't need to prove yourself to anybody, because you can't. Don't need to be understood by anybody, because you can't, any more than you can totally understand anybody else. That's, again, another illusion of society. And just be yourself. And then as that self-expression comes through, you sort of prove to yourself, this is at least what worked for me, that it can be really easy. It wasn't supposed to be this hard.
I like what you're saying. I believe that the more of us awaken to these other abilities, then the more of us will understand each other.
Absolutely.
Because you're saying the divide really is, and I don't think it's as easy as two different factions. I think it's a little more complicated than that, about why are we not listening to the little guy inside of us, the voice, the heart, our spirit, because we don't want to, like you said, go to the pain, go to the suffering, go to and we want to avoid that at all costs and go out here. Because if we go in here, then we're vulnerable, we're weak, and then people maybe won't like us because we're not going to be cool or we're not going to be attractive. So I like what you said. I want to tell you, I just did like a little read on you really quick. I don't know
what that was.
I wanted to, what'd you say?
I wondered what that was.
Did you sense that? So I asked, because I like to ask, and you didn't seem upset, so I did it.
You can't upset me.
It was very, well, no, I don't know. Maybe I could. So it's about your comfort. Kevin, what I got, hi, my name is Mary, and your name is?
I'm sorry?
Hi, my name is Mary, your name is?
Kevin.
Kevin, is it okay if I connect you? Because I did already.
Of course. Yeah, I have nothing to hide.
So I got space with you, and then I said, what is space? And it's about, it could be a lot of things with you. It could be the space that's the empty, which people think there's nothing here, but there's still energy in this space between material things. It could be the space all the way up out into wherever you want to call it, out into another star system. Maybe it's another dimension, another realm. All of these things fascinate you. I got a giraffe because you're lifting up your head and you're always looking out beyond where you are, and a circle's moving. You're always moving. So you move through this circle of like a cycle, and you to figure things out until you find it. And there's an arrow, you're following something that's leading you. It's not back to the beginning, it's just another circle. So then I got a lot of shapes, abstract shapes. And I received a ruler, and you talked about measurement, which was interesting because I had already written it down, a ruler. So you measure things. You're big on measuring abstract shapes, because you're looking for what's beyond here. I got safety. I did get a huge wave, which is positive because it's emotional. It's could take everything down and you start all over, which I think you like to do.
That's something I do. I wouldn't say I like to do it.
Okay, well, you still do it. And then I don't know what this says here. Past the norm. You like to go past what's normal.
Yes.
I got a lot of beyond with you, you know?
That's because there were a lot of boundaries early on.
Okay.
A lot of judgment, a lot of ridicule, a lot of...
I'm sorry.
My dad was, it's made me who I am. I have no regrets about the past. I don't think about it that much. My father transitioned in May this year, and I hadn't talked to him in about 7 years because he was the source of this. And the only way I could heal was to let him go. I had a lot of channeling sessions around this to help me to get clarity, because I was physically dying inside, because he's physically close by. He was in the hospital. He was never in the hospital, and suddenly, I'm close again physically to him. And we didn't spend much time together anyway. And it just all, like, it brought those things up that were inside of me. And that's when the journey of the true healing started 7 years ago. And then as I've gone through this, tons of relief in the circle idea. There's lots of loops in there. I think, finally I got past this one thing, that's all the shame or whatever. It's, there's another one. Okay, well, let's go face that one. So I've gotten at least I can now notice when I'm reacting from a childhood wound. I have to go through it, but then I can come back around, and I know what to do now. I've just had so much help from the spiritual realm. So I think that's really accurate. In this last year and a half, there was another close family trauma that occurred, and I had to go through another wave, and I had a detached retina that happened because vision, not able to see. Yeah. I mean, I wanted to see this. I've got this big picture that has been pulling me, like I'm supposed to reach a lot of people. I'm not supposed to, like in it's a law or something, but just there's this calling. And so all these things keep coming up to be healed. I mean, what else am I going to do? Otherwise, I'll suffer and die. So
Yeah.
this last, when he passed, there was an immense freedom that flowed into. I was just like, it's indescribable. Like I will never have to see his face again. His angry, condescending, screaming face in my face again. Even though he was 95, he hadn't done that in years. But the child in me still had some of it. And since then, and I'm the executor of the estate. So another challenge now that was going back to his apartment with my wife and sister and so forth, and immersing myself back into childhood because he kept everything. So now I'm wading through another layer of facing the last bit, and it's been fantastic. And the family member that I had kind of split off from a year and a half ago, we reconnected in the last month or so, and my confidence in knowing who I am is now, I've taken over basically his life, cleaning up the debts and dealing with the assets and so forth. There's just been an immense growth here, and that's probably what you're picking up, Mary, is that late cycle.
Yeah.
I hope I'm on the other side of this mountain.
I appreciate you speaking about that because, well, one of the beautiful things about this, though, I think hearing you speak about this, anyone going through this process, it's not all love and light, and some of it can be some really, dark night of the soul that we get dragged through, and we're pulled through, and it could be some of the most chaotic, hectic stuff that we ever experience. But I do believe on a soul level, we have to go through that. We have to experience that. And I do appreciate your honesty and really your vulnerability speaking about this, because I think it shows anybody out there, though, that, this is a messy process, but regardless of what the circumstances, we can get it and we can get through it and get onto the other side. And we can still have a magnificent, beautiful, powerful life with intention beyond whatever happened. You know what I mean? And I think it's, if you get stuck in that energy, and it's interesting, you even, recalling that moment of your dad being angry, and being pulled into that energetic connection, because that's what that was. That was the point, an energetic point in time that, you were reliving. And it's interesting because I also appreciate you speaking about this, because I've had my own connections with loved ones in spirit that I've had more healing when they moved on the spirit and having this deeper connection that I never realized I could have. And I think anyone that's going through a process where maybe they had a falling out with a family member, the family member passed away, or there was just some upheaval or some chaotic thing, and you felt like there wasn't closure in the physical realm, I could tell you that, just like from you, Kevin, I really appreciate you speaking about this, but we could still get beyond that, find closure, and move past whatever that energetic experience was, as long as I think we're willing to open ourselves, and I think that's part of the process. We have to be vulnerable. We have to open ourselves and go through some of that deepest pain and trauma. But I think the greatest healers that are doing this work have gone there, have done the work, and they understand it, so they can bring that healing and that understanding to someone else, because if you haven't been there, how can you wrap your head around that? And I think
you can't really be authentic in your energy.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
So I commend you. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you. I feel like I'm so liberated now, and it's been incrementally, where I could talk about this kind of stuff. There have been times earlier on in my life where I literally couldn't share anything because of a shame would suddenly come up, like, well, you did something wrong, or you're a fool, or you'll be laughed at. And so I'm mostly past that. There are probably still a few things, but as you say, is once you know that you're not going to die when you go through this each dark night of the soul, it's like you do it a few times. It's like I'm curled up in a ball, on the floor, sobbing and racked in pain, and oh, but tomorrow, it's like, oh, I feel better. It's like, oh, I'm lighter. It's like, okay, well, I didn't die this time, so I'm a little bit more willing each time to push through the pain. Like coming on a camera 20 years ago, I would have been, panic attack. And I went through a Dale Carnegie course, and I went through, and then pushed myself each time into being in front of more groups of people. And it's now I just because I love what I do and I love talking with people like you about this and whoever else is listening, that I can go to that first now. And if the fear is there, it's like as long as I focus on where I'm going and in alignment and being guided, then the fear just goes and it's gone. But it's taken me a long time to get there. So I don't want anybody to think this is just something you wake up one day and you can talk to people. So now I do have that. I wanted to show you this. I don't know if you guys can see this. This is a rally of about 1 million people. It's over 1 million people. I keep this as a piece of paper on my desk here as a reminder of who's calling me to be in front of. I felt that since, I don't know, 40 years or so before I had any chance of speaking in front of even a single person. And it keeps showing back up. I keep getting these waves of, oh, there's more people. And what I learned, and you guys are doing this already, which I really admire you for, is you're stepping into the calling. And when you feel that excitement to share something, you feel that excitement to give a reading or whatever it is that lights you up. And I know, Michael, you're a musician. I'm an amateur musician too, and I know what that feeling is like. It's like and I haven't played in a long time, in front of people, but it's like that when you get the excitement in your body and you feel that excitement, what I learned, which keeps me going on this realm so much, is that that's when you're becoming the channel and the source wants to come through you. But you're going to the people who are calling. That's that 1 million people. When you get an exciting impulse to do one of these things, it's because you're connecting the dots to somebody who's asking somewhere out there in the ether, like thousands of people. So trust your excitement when you get that feeling like, oh, I got to write this book, you're saying, or I got to do this. It's not just because source is coming into you. It's because it's being pulled through you by your audience. The people are an exact vibrational match to what you had to deliver. And to me, that's so exciting. Think about that. The audience is already there. All you got to do is show up and do your fun thing. And then you connect the dots and everybody benefits. Like, to me, that blew my mind when I realized that one day. So I'm excited for you guys. Excited for me too.
Loved what you just said. I loved it. I really did. Yeah. So okay. So I'm gonna ask you, Kevin.
You may find that captioned in Mary Amy's new book.
I'd be honored to be in anybody's book. Well, I'm actually in somebody's book, but I'd be honored to be anybody's book.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mary.
Let's see. Okay, I think you've answered my first question already about because you have such a unique understanding. It's not in theory. You understand highly sensitive people because you are. So I can see why you are actually very well suited to help people that are highly sensitive because you know what it's like. You have a lot of compassion. I'd like to go into the telepathic channel because I do exercises on some shows and I talk about how to connect your telepathic channel, how to connect your intuitive abilities. Can you tell us a little bit about what that is, your telepathic connector, and what you know about that, so that people are fascinated with this and they might want to learn about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, back to the scientific, logical approach. Everything that I do has to come from that understanding. And it's not that I need to, have a formula for spirit or anything, but it has to be practical to me. And which is fine if it isn't for other people, but I need to be able to say, okay, I can, I have this understanding and I got to prove it to myself. And oh, there, it worked, or I'm seeing it work in somebody else. And then, okay, now that goes in the toolkit. And what I came to understand is the idea of the broader non-physical part of us, the soul, spirit, whatever we call it, the part that is eternal, indestructible, infinite, that part of which is flowing into the body to the degree that we let it in or not. And we have the secondary human consciousness. So we always have these two consciousnesses. The human one starts at birth roughly and then starts growing and eventually seems to overtake the guidance most of the time. Then I spend the rest of our lives getting it back, which is what we're talking about here today. But so there's always the channel to non-physical or broader spiritual consciousness is always available to us. And it's just a frequency. It's really not any more complicated than a station on the radio or the television. And we are vibrational beings, as they say, in a vibrational universe. Everything is vibration at the core. And so you choose your vibration by where you set your attention. And everything else flows from that vibration. Your thought streams flow from the vibration, your physical manifestations, your connection to whatever non-physical, all flows from the same frequency that you yourself are choosing. Some people don't, most people I would say don't know they're choosing the frequency. They just kind of bounce around on their emotional states, and they're not used to managing it or getting back to it. They're used to being told what to believe and what to do, or they have the walls up like I did. But at the end of the day, and I am answering your question, believe it or not.
You are.
What I discovered is that when I learned what channeling was, and at first, of course, it was, when I had the brain tumor and Abraham Hicks, it's like, we listened to those CDs. We drove all the way to Niagara Falls because we had a belated honeymoon. It's like, I'm not buying this stuff. What is this? I can't touch it. I can't measure it. You're telling me that this lady is channeling Abraham collective consciousness, prove it. And as I listened to it and listened to it, okay, I can get that. Then nothing was contradictory. Everything was pure positive. There was nothing angry or intense or shameful or any of that stuff. It was all pure love. And I had never experienced that before. And that's what kind of opened the door. And so that's why I started studying the idea of channeling. And then people started coming to me to help them to channel because I understood the mechanics. Well, so it's the same with telepathy. Telepathy is just a different station on the radio. Once you open up to that internal guidance, which you guys are both really good at, I'm still a beginner when it comes to what you do. I can't do anywhere near what you can do. I do it in my own way. And so telepathy is just a little bit more focused on an individual or a group of individuals and a communication between them. But it's really not any different than channeling or anything else. It's just more intention to me. But there's another part of this, like why is Kevin even interested in telepathy? I never was up until a year ago, about a year and a half ago, roughly, when I came across a podcast called the Telepathy Tapes, which I don't know if you guys have heard of it.
I've heard of it. I never saw it.
Well, that's mind-blowingly good. So
that's a good one.
Yeah. Okay. So you're familiar. So I've always been interested in autism. I have no autistic people in my life. I have no idea why until I did. There's actually here. This is a DVD from Abraham Hicks from like 15, 16 years ago called The Autistic Revolution. Okay. Way before I knew any of this kind of stuff. But it really intrigued me. Like, these are autistic kids on the spectrum. There's something special about them. What is it? I could never figure it out. And then I listened to the telepathy tapes, particularly then on speakers. They're all telepathic. They're all talking to each other in the non-physical all the time. They can't communicate with their own parents.
I was fortunate enough to work with a bunch of autistic children for, periodically back in 2000, I think it was 14, 15. And it was pretty interesting. It started as fundraisers. And then through the fundraising events that I was doing, some of the moms started asking me about different aspects of psychic development or mediumship and talking about different connections they felt their children were having. And it was very interesting. Some of the moms would bring the children in to do a reading, and it was more of like a workshop discussion, and very, very tuned in. And what I was amazed about was I had one of the kids told me, he's like, "Oh, and Mike, and your grandmother, like, there was a very specific tattoo that I did not get as a teenager." And it was interesting. And came in and told me, "Your grandmother's saying that you didn't get this tattoo, and she would have liked this better." And the crazy thing was, no one knew that other than her and I. And I was just like, wait a second. Okay. There's something going on here. And I just heard more and more about it. And then the telepathy tapes, had, more recently come out. But I had experienced that, and I didn't know how widespread it was that they're looking at, this really, I guess, psychic pathway that they've all developed. And is it because the physical body is somewhat
they never lost it,
or
they never lost it. Yeah. So here's again my take.
They retain that spiritual connection.
Yeah. So we're born as that spiritual connection, right? Well, that's where we come from. That's who we are when we're not in a body. Yeah. We are non-physical. There is no location. There is no time. Right? Everything's here. Everything's now. So we're all one consciousness from that perspective. We're just different frequencies, different perspectives at different times. But so we're all connected and can communicate. And so they have not lost the way I kind of like, I'm not a scientist, a medical person, just a scientist, is that we who are in the neurotypical, we have a part of our brain which can overload the third eye, the spiritual connection. That's what we're talking about today. That's when we get on these dark nights of the soul and so forth. Those on the spectrum seem to have less of that. That connection stays open. They still can have lots of trauma, and many of them do, but it's more extreme because this is so much more sensitive. That's why you see them banging their heads against the wall and hurting themselves, is because they are literally suffering at a level that I think we can't even understand. So the telepathy tapes, when I listen to it, it suddenly, it's like, oh, these kids are telepathic. They're not just, and they're in there. That was the thing that blew me away. These kids who can't speak and they're maybe drooling and they can't control their arms, they're just as smart as anybody, but they can't communicate it. And it's like, my heart's like, oh my God, I can't imagine.
And what is it? The hill? Is it the hill, the gathering?
That's one of the, that's what
is
they
it. Is
call
it the hill where they gather? Is that what they speak about? The mountaintop? Or
the hill is just the same telepathic frequency, but there's many hills. There's as many hills as there are people who want to gather, because it's just another station on the radio. Yeah. But that was the terminology.
Is that how you're looking at that? Because that's how I'm kind of understanding it. They're opening and tuning into that frequency, and that frequency is obviously it's present to all of us if we can tune into it. And it's interesting because they even speak about people that aren't supposed to be there that are there. They had talked about that too. I found very interesting. So whether they were being remote viewed or someone was trying to tune into that energetic pathway.
Well, again, back to frequency. To get to that frequency, you've got to be in a state of love. You've got to be connected to higher consciousness. So the people who are not on the hill but are saying, there's a lot of parents who don't get this of these kids, and they're still coming from religious backgrounds where they don't know what to do. Yeah. Like my kids doing this weird stuff, and so there's still a lot of fearful influence on these kids, which is part of what's causing the trauma. This is where my trauma work can come in to help these parents soften the fear that they have of what's going on. So you guys know that when you're connected to spirit, there's no fear. Nobody's just jumping in and rattling your cage. You're in pure positive energy. You're only going to align with that frequency. And if you're not experiencing that, then you yourself are not in that frequency, right? Everything's a vibrational mirror exactly to the frequency we're emanating. So it's great feedback to know, oh, I'm having kind of a crappy time here. My spiritual connection not working so well. Oh, there's a demon over there. Well, no, the demon's inside of you. You're in a fearful state. You're attracting that frequency. Time to do a little bit of healing. Let that go. Come back into alignment. So my heart went out to the kids, first of all.
People don't understand. There's different vibrations, and we can tune in and draw. And attract that energy. But what's interesting is because I think because there's a lot of misperceptions around this. So I think what I find fascinating around this, I think there's a lot of misperceptions, and people have this misperception, and it could be connected to like a religious upbringing or trying to control and harness. But people, and Mary and I get asked this all the time: how do you know that there isn't a demon jumping in or something evil or something dark? So what's interesting is, Kevin, I'd like you to talk a little bit about if there's like a parent out there that's like, I don't know, I like two psychics. I'm curious about this stuff. I want to know a little bit more. I think there's, good energy or dark energy. Like, where should a parent start? And what are some of the misnomers? What is some of the, some of the misperceptions around this that we can maybe clarify a little bit right now for people that aren't aware of really what's happening?
Yeah, they're great questions. So like with anything, I believe that the reason we're even in these physical bodies is because we set out a path that we wanted to go through some challenges. We wanted the positive result of going through the negative. So everyone's got to find their own way in this. And it's very easy for me in the past. I could try to figure out people's problem and tell them what it was and then get them to do it. It's like, well, all that did was push them away from their own guidance. And the only thing that ever works is finding our way back to our own center. And only we know where that is. And that shows up when you let go of the fears. So I always invite people to look at how does the thought feel? How is this feeling to you? If you're afraid of this, don't do it. If you're afraid of telepathy or psychic stuff, that's not the time to go into it. You first want to address what are the fears that are coming up around this, because if you push yourself into something and you've got a panic around it, you're just going to worsen the panic. Everything's about getting into flow state, getting back into the set to it, that's the trauma part, softening the trauma part. So then the idea is, because when we soften trauma, we relax, we release, get psychic help from people like you, then we naturally open the channel back up. It's just two parts of the same thing. And when we do that, then our own intuition shows up, clarity comes, and then we can tell, oh, this is good, this is not so good for me. So it's always the internal work first. I never invite people to or ever try to push them in any direction. I used to do that, never worked. And I realized why is because I am avoiding my own guidance by trying to get them to change. If you just change, you'll stop triggering me and you'll just go away. So I try to fix everybody else except looking at Kevin. And now I know everything is within Kevin. Everything is a mirror right now to the vibration I'm holding. So I'm a lot more attentive to the vibration that I'm on. And when I start to hear my mind wander off in some sort of sad story, I know what the repercussion is going to be. I'm going to get a reflection back of that pretty soon. So I have a lot of reason to keep tuning myself. And I do this in coaching sessions. I do this in the groups. I'm always listening to the feeling of my own words as they're coming out and tuning and tuning. And it's what I would invite anyone to do is to do the work. And I think psychic work and channeling work I do is all helpful for the people who are ready for it. And they'll just show up on your doorstep. So I'm very careful also, again, hard lessons of noticing what's not working for other people around me, what's not working in society and government and religion, none of my business, unless you show up on my doorstep. And if you do, then you're a vibrational match to me. If I'm holding a higher vibration, then I know that you're going to benefit from being around me, or I'm going to benefit from you, or both. It's usually both when you're with a client. I'm sure you guys know that. You always get something from it. So I don't spend any time in that worry state anymore about the world falling apart, because the world's doing just fine. Everybody's on their journeys, and we're going to have a lot of fun in the next couple of years getting through this. It's going to be so great on the other side. Mary, what was your question?
I have a question. I'm not trying to contradict you. I just want to have clarity in what you're saying, because I'm always growing and I'm always learning, and I have a question. Okay, so are you saying that everything that we think we see is a manifestation of something coming from us, or could it actually be there? Because what if it's not even part of our thing and it appears? How is it related to me?
Yeah, and so that's a really good question. That was one of the things I struggled.
Other dimensions, let's be clear, other dimensions, other realms, if your consciousness travels too. So go ahead.
Well, it's everywhere. Yeah, it's a matter of frequency, which is what puts you in different locations, and a matter of focus, how much you narrow the focus or broaden it. When you're in a human body that's very narrowly focused, which we wanted, so that we could focus on very specific things. That's why we're in physical bodies. It's because they are focusing mechanisms. You forget all these other wonderful things and you can focus on something. So to answer your question, though, it's a really good question, and one I struggled with for quite a while before I really understood it. And that is that the manifestations are secondary. They're reflections of the vibration, which is primary. And the universe simply takes the path of least resistance in bringing manifestations that match the vibration. So if you're in a state of joy, you hold that for at least 15 seconds. That's the law of attraction speed at which we manifest. Then you will begin to attract thoughts that match joy, the higher frequency of joy. If you maintain that and you don't get distracted, then another thought stream of joy will show up. And if you go 60 seconds and you stay on joy, you don't get distracted, and the human has a hard time staying on a frequency, then physical manifestations will start to match joy for you. You will start to notice physical things that feel like joy. So it's the feeling which is the connecting piece, not the physical manifestation. You can be specific about a manifestation, but most of us our minds wander all over the place. So if you can get more into the feeling, then who cares what shows up if you stay in a state of joy or love or whatever for as long as you can, then the universe will bring those things to you. Now, if you have doubt, if you're in fear for a while, maybe something happened to you that triggered a childhood memory and you didn't let it go, 15 seconds. Oh, that's right. I was worried about this other thing. Oh yeah, now I'm worried about this thing. 15 more seconds. Oh, there's that thing. And then 15 more seconds, you go out about a minute going, oh, now this physical thing shows up. I got a bill to worry about that shows up. And see, so the physical manifestation doesn't matter so much. It's the feeling of it that tells you what's on the way. So everything will reflect how you are feeling. And if you think that you're in a good mood and something unwanted shows up, you weren't in a good mood. You were lying to yourself about your feelings. And a lot of us are good at that. I am. Have been. Like I want to put that happy face on for everybody. I don't want to see them back here, but inside I'm miserable. Well, guess what the universe hears? I'm miserable. And they say, well, wait a second. No, I was in a good mood and I just spilled my coffee. No, you weren't. You thought you were pretending you were. You're used to putting on a face for other people, but inside you weren't feeling that good, and the universe just showed that to you. And then that becomes the feedback. That becomes the reflection in the mirror to say, oh, I didn't see that. I thought I was in alignment, but I wasn't. Okay, let's examine that. Let's do the work and get ourselves back into alignment. So everything is a vibrational reflection. It's a vibrational universe. It can be no other way. It's just physics. You can't hear the jazz station when you're tuned to the rock station on the radio. If you want to hear jazz, you got to tune to the jazz station. And if you're hearing rock music and you think you're on the jazz station, you're on the rock station. So it's just positive feedback, always letting you know where you're at. No judgment. You haven't done anything wrong. You're not a bad person. You're not going to hell unless you stay on the hell frequency. Does that make sense?
What about when you go, well, sometimes, but what about if you're going to sleep and you have different entities show up and they're all just different entities? Or if you get a job and there's some kind of paranormal activity going on and it has nothing to do with you.
Sure it does.
And you go in there and there's stuff that's there.
Yeah. And so why did you rendezvous with it? Why did you rendezvous with it? What frequency were you on? Ask yourself. So back to, again, this is an exercise you can do for yourself if you want. If this is, if this is aligning with you, if this feels good. You're talking about going to sleep and an entity shows up. How does that entity feel? You have a specific one.
Actually, I start talking to them telepathically, and then they're
That's not my question.
This, pardon me?
That's not my question. That's not my question.
Oh, okay,
how did the entity feel when it showed up?
How did they feel, or how did I feel?
To you. Yeah, you're the only one who matters in this equation.
So I just am curious what they are.
How did it feel to you?
It felt interesting because I'm curious about it every time it happens.
Okay, so I'm not optimistic.
Probably.
Hopeful, joyful.
Yeah.
Worried. Concerned.
No. I'm not ever worried because I'm like, it's a common thing that happens to me. So they're all different kinds, negative and positive. Yeah. And it ranges. Sometimes one negative, one positive, but they're like coming to me because of my frequency. So I match their frequency, I guess. But like, it's interesting that some of them just like show up and then leave in 1 second, and then other ones stick around.
And would you want some of them to stick around? Are there some that you're more interested in?
No, I'm actually interested in all of them, even dark and light, because I'm writing all about it. So it's like it's something so common. It's been going on for years that I don't have judgment about it. It's not about me.
Well, it is about you, but isn't that a great thing? You attracted these things to support you in writing a book. Isn't it wonderful? Look how powerful you are.
I'm not powerful at all. I think I'm a spectator.
Well, so I'm curious, Kevin, what would be your perspective? So if I interject here and I say, okay, so Mary isn't proactively focusing where the energy is going. She's just kind of going to sleep and open as a sponge. And it's like, what's going to kind of come in could be drawing. So is it that? So I want to interject. And so talking about like good or bad. So, and Kevin, I want your perspective. So Mary, you gave Kevin a reading earlier. So now Kevin gets to give you a little bit of a reading.
Well, I'm just reflecting what I know.
What would be your perspective around trying to understand why good and bad? Or is it, okay. Is it just like do you feel like opening like a sponge and maybe being receptive to all of it? So there isn't like a set rhyme or reason and all the energy is coming in. I want to hear a little bit of your perspective on this.
Sure. Yeah. Well, first of all, there's no judgment. Okay, this is just reflecting the mechanics the way I understand it of
Mhm.
vibration, attraction, perception, and so forth.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Mary, you brought that up for a reason. Right, you had a curiosity about that. You said that, and then you went on to something else. Was there a question within that why they're showing up? Because you went to being unworthy very quickly when you said, "Oh, I'm not doing anything." Yeah, you are. You're an open-hearted individual. You've tuned into high vibration. You're allowing the energy to flow through you, and you help a lot of people. It feels like there might be a little resistance around that acknowledgement, and that might be where there's a little doubt. You see, that's all.
Well, you know what it is? It's kind of crazy because you have extraterrestrials, you have a reptilian eye pop right here.
According to
like mother who passed away and she's coming to try to talk to you. And
the
I'm
most
like,
amazing thing I have ever heard in my life. I would love to be able to do what you do. It's one of the things why I love working with psychics and channels and mediums because I help them.
You can read it in my book.
Well, I'm part of the ground crew, right? I'm not out there on the leading edge in the way that you guys are. I'm on my own leading edge. But
give yourself some credit here, intuitive coach Kevin.
Well, no, I'm not denigrating myself. But what I'm saying is, you guys are out there actually doing the readings, and to me, this is the leading edge of humanity. You are reconnected with broader consciousness, and you are following that guidance system. Everybody's got a bad day, so what? That's why we're here, is to learn how to get through them. But you guys are affecting lots and lots of people, and the more that you touch people with that pure essence that flows through you and help them get through their lives, it's going to flow down to other people. And that's how we contradict all the fear and control and hatred and wars and stuff that's been going on. That's only people who are disconnected from that guidance, from that stream of consciousness. So it's not we don't have to go fix them. Our job is just to be it and acknowledge it within ourselves, and then just express it. And it not normally flows down because everybody wants to feel good. And you guys help to do that. I don't know if I answered your question or not, Mary. Are we close, or Michael? Either one.
I appreciate what you said.
Well, first off, I appreciate that. Thank you. And Mary, I do. So interesting thing, because I was talking to Mary earlier about her book. No, I just wanted to acknowledge this. I don't think you give yourself enough credit for how creative your creative output is, and how positively it affects other people. And that was interesting because I think Kevin picked up on that too. So I just think there's a process of like letting go, not trying to control it. I love that you said that, because I think I still tend, there are points where I'll revert back to that, and I have to get out of that mindset. I think we all do. And that may be something for you too, Mary. Maybe you're getting back to that, and you just let go. And I think there's so much power in going, I'm not going to concern myself with what the outside voices are, and I'm going to move forward of how I'm being divinely connected. And I think it could be a challenge for all of us, and it's something we have to remind ourselves. But I think that's why we're here, right? To remind each other that we are a divine being, and sometimes we need to shake that up a little bit to move forward. But it's an awesome thing. One thing. So, Mary, are there any other questions that you wanted to ask Kevin? Because I just had one other.
You wanted to say something.
I wanted to ask you that I think our listeners.
I just want to add that I basically surrender. Like, that's my philosophy. So I'm not in I'm trying to just accept, surrender, and not be a reactor. More just, I say silence, go to my heart, have my heart contact. So I don't know what it turns out to be. I'm just being myself and being an artist and pursuing what I see is interesting and my path. I don't have energy for all the stuff that everyone else thinks or wants, or unless it's like some intimate relationship or my family or my friends or what I want to do. I can't. It's too much. It's overwhelming.
It's not your job. It never was your job. Your job is to pursue joy. And when you do that, you're in alignment, and then the people show up who match your joy, If you're worried about everybody else, which I was, I was the fixer in my family. I was the one who had to make everybody else feel good. And then, of course, there's nothing left for Kevin. And then I was resentful for most of my life until now. I'm selfish as hell. I'm in the sense that I take care of my needs when I need to. I exercise when I need to. I attempt to eat the way that my body's asking me for. Some days I do, some days I don't. But I learned slowly to become my own best friend and not to try to fix a broken world and go looking for people who I think I'm responsible for fixing. A healer doesn't heal anybody. A healer sets up a vibration of alignment which allows the other person to feel safe and soft enough to heal themselves. And so if I go looking for people to heal, guess what? I'm not healed. So I spend the time in alignment. I be the vibration. Is one of the things Jesus did so well. He didn't try to fix or heal people. He just be Jesus, and like so many of them. And that energy helped people to heal who were close enough vibrationally to him that they were ready to heal. Those who weren't couldn't get close to him because the vibrations didn't match. So you don't have to manage anybody else. You just got to be yourself. So simple. Why don't we do it? I don't know.
No, I love that. And I think if nothing else, the conclusion that we've come to tonight is this can be a very, very messy process, but it could be the most beautiful process that you ever go through. And again, we always hear that, thoughts become things. I think what we're speaking about here, that lays the groundwork of that. Everyone out there, absolutely pay attention to the energy you're putting out into the world, the energy you're absorbing, your focus, your thoughts, because everything is created twice. Once in the mind, once in that divine realm, and then here in the physical realm. So think about that. Everything comes through that divine thought and focus, and through that process, creation happens, and we bring that existence into this physical world. I think people on this journey have a lot of different options of where their healing is going to start. What I'd like to hear a little bit, your own journey and some of the different healing. A lot of people are into like Reiki or understanding Reiki, or some people are, dabbling with, Ayurvedic medicine, like all these different aspects. And there's so many different healing modalities. What would be a recommendation for someone to explore and try to find what resonates with them? Like what had resonated with you, and how can we help someone allow this journey to unfold?
Yeah, that's a very fundamentally important question to me as well. So it's kind of back to the same thing in the sense that you already know what lights you up. But at some level, not just you, but I mean, the collective you have belief systems that are interfering with pursuing your dreams. Otherwise, why wouldn't you be doing what your highest excitement was in every moment? What stops us from just following that? It's back to that. Do I need to know what I'm going to do in 5 years? No. Well, what's the next step? The next step is what feels the best right now. Getting in, developing that habit, facing the what's the belief? Bashar says this, one of my favorite channels. He says, when you find yourself not doing something that you feel like you should be doing, you're called to do, it's like, what would I have to believe is true? My words are not coming out. What would I have to believe is true in order for me to feel this way? So what is it why am I not moving forward? Well, what do I have to believe is true? There's danger here. I'm going to be made fun of. I'm going to be ridiculed. I'm not good enough. I'll never make it. I can't make enough money to support myself. What is the belief system that's preventing you from following your highest excitement? And all you have to do is start stepping into whatever excites you in the moment. Like maybe it's taking a walk. Maybe it's, taking a hot bath. Maybe it's reading a book. Maybe it's calling somebody. Whatever that highest excitement is, just try to do it. And if you don't do it, you've got a belief system that's in the way. You've got a limiting belief, and that's worth exploring. What do I believe would have to be true to prevent me from moving that direction? And then what happens is you're already a vibrational match to the right modalities for you in this now moment. And when you clear up the limiting beliefs, then if it's Ayurvedic medicine, you'll immediately have a synchronistic moment with somebody who teaches it. They'll show up on Facebook the next day for you. Like the universe is always sending us guidance and people and stuff all the time to match the higher frequencies, but we're the one who don't show up for our own party. And we don't show up because there's limiting beliefs. So for me, it doesn't matter what the thing is. Try everything. If something sparks your interest even a little bit, go there. Read the book, listen to the podcast, talk to the person on Facebook, reach out. And again, if you feel yourself blocked to do that, you've got a limiting belief that's just holding you back. And it's something you learned, it's not something that's true. Because it wouldn't be limiting. There's no limit in source. Did that answer your question, Michael?
Let me unmute myself. Okay. Didn't want that noise. Oh, I
I'm
love
not
that. Thank you so
telepathic
much.
yet.
I appreciate that. And I think I think that can clarify, a lot of people that listen to Two Psychics podcast are on this journey and they're trying to figure it out, trying to understand it. One thing that I love that we do here, I think we really talk about things from an authentic, evidential place. I think the practitioners, the healers, the people we bring onto this show have really gone through the trenches of a lot of what they're doing. So I really appreciate that about you, Kevin. I really appreciate you sharing some of your own personal journey, and I think that's one thing that anyone out there should understand. We're doing this stuff and we're here and we're trying to push forward, but it's not a perfect process. We've all gone through the mess. We've all gone through the chaos, and that's what makes us who we are. And we have to learn and grow through that. But anyone out there that's finding that a hard process or trying to tune into that, man, just even if it's on your personal journey or your own meditation that you do in the privacy of your own space, sit with that energy, go deep, because it'll be the best, most empowering thing you ever do. Right, Kevin? I mean, what if there was one thing you could tell anybody out there listening, this is what you should start doing tomorrow, what would that be?
Yeah, yeah. The word "should" always gets in the way because that means that I'm presuming something. I can tell you what works for me, and you know what I mean.
Yes.
What works for me is finding what allows me to quiet my mind, and there are as many ways to do that as there are people. There's walking in nature. We've got a beautiful backyard. We have birds and squirrels and all sorts of creatures. I go out there sometimes, sitting quietly listening to. I use Insight Timer, the app, which has all sorts of sounds and music. Get quiet and do breathing. That works for me. I have a grandson now who's 9 months old, and I just saw him today, and that just brings me an immense amount of joy and connection. Suzanne has a granddaughter who's 6, who I love to play with. So my invitation is just to keep finding. It's really all it is about alignment. And alignment is letting go of the brain and allowing the source that wants to flow through. And you can do that any way that feels good to you. Just pick one.
I love that. And that's why I said should, because I think I don't think there is any should. I think everyone has their own path.
Yes, I can.
What does that say?
Disruptor.
So you're a disruptor. It's a compliment.
I think it is that. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I do not like the status quo.
That's your title now. It's
Disruptor, Kevin Young.
Coach, telepathic connector, disruptor.
I will own that.
System, I think that's what it's all about, right? Shaking up the system.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys.
We have a comment. She says, I love this. This is so me. I really like myself after listening to this and understand where my journey is going and continue to be kind and positive person to others. See, that's positive.
I love
Thank
that.
you.
Thank you, Suzanne, for sharing that. Appreciate that.
I love that. Is there anything you would like to share with everyone? Because I know we've had you on for an hour now. Is there anything you'd like to share about your, a message, how they can reach you, a special program you're offering?
Well, yeah, I wish I had all those things, but I'm just kind of living in the now moment right now. I do a lot of work with the Autism Telepathy Conversations community. Is a Facebook group of about 18,000 people, and I'm one of the admins. Caroline Coleman, Casey Carter, and Monique McPherson were all in the telepathy tapes, and they are the other, and Mish Carpenter, excuse me. They are the other 4 admins, and so we spent a lot of time keeping the group focused on telepathy and the non-speaking autism world. And so I work with that community a lot. I still do some private coaching. If somebody wants to have one of these conversations, but in private, I still will do that. Right now, there's been so much transformation in my life from family things and the physical healing and my father, all kind of coming to an end. They're kind of coming to a head, and uh, I'm just riding the wave, excited for what there are things that are going to show up. So I'm not trying to predict anything or create anything right now. I'm letting the universe deliver beautiful people like you, where I get to have a really fun conversation with people on the same frequency. I mean,
Appreciate
I
that.
could do this all day long, and I'd have a blast, and I wouldn't have to do anything else with my life. But so yeah, you can reach me at intuitivecoachkevin.com or on Facebook or any of those other social media platforms. And I'm happy to chat with anybody who's got a question or just wants a little boost. It's one of my favorite things.
Absolutely.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much. I mean, we really appreciate it. I appreciate just the rawness of this discussion, because it really was. I think this was one of the rawer discussions that we had, that anyone tuning into this, I think, can really get an understanding of maybe where our minds are, where they need to be trying to move forward, or what we could strive for. And it's a very personal journey. There is no clear-cut way, and it's a very personal thing that we have to experience. And I think that's the thing, like you had spoke about earlier, Kevin, like, you're not healing somebody, you're opening the healing process, or you're showing the healing process so they can embrace that, take it and utilize it however they may utilize that, and I think that's what it's about. It's about opening and awakening this conversation. But thank you so much. I really appreciate the rawness of this conversation. And and you see, Mary got a reading, you got a reading. I'm left out on this one, but that's all right. We'll save that.
My door's open to you anytime you reach out, Michael.
I'm walking away from this conversation with something that you
anyone
said.
Out there listening to Two Psychics podcast, if you want to check out Kevin Young and the Connector, we will have all his contact information on our social media. And this was just a great conversation, and I'm so thankful for both of you, and I'm so thankful for what this platform and what we can do here, and I think anyone out there that has a calling, like Kevin said earlier, there's always that something that your soul is tugging you for. Listen to that, because that could be the most amazing thing that unfolds in your life when you allow that divine connection to start manifesting. And what was once some crazy dream that now you're bringing into reality, and it's all possible. It is absolutely all possible.
Everything is possible.
We are all in this. We are all manifestors in this amazing realm, and this time to be alive, I think, is fantastic. But Kevin, thank you so much for your insight, your conversation, and that rawness of that conversation. I think that'll touch a lot of people that listen to this episode.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate you. Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Mary.
And thank you for saying set intention, because I've been focused on that too, because I was looking about light grids and ley lines and vortexes and setting an intention to send light to certain locations. So that's been on my mind. You just reminded me.
Does that feel good to you? Does that light you up?
Yes, I only do things that feel good to me.
All right, there we go.
All right.
What a great example you are then to others who are afraid to do what lights them up.
Oh,
I was one of those.
You know what? I'm so grateful that you came on tonight and you shared yourself and you gave everybody your truth, and we were present for it. And I really appreciate you being here tonight. And I'm recommending that you contact intuitivecoachkevin.com and and have a wonderful evening. And thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Really appreciate
so much,
you.
Kevin. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thanks. You too. Bye now.
Bye. Okay, that was beautiful.
It was. And the one takeaway, I think we all tend to overthink or overcomplicate things. And sometimes we just need to get out of our own way, right? And simplify it, or trust the process, or not be so overcritical, And that was my biggest thing in the music process. And when I just like unplugged, and I said, all right, I'm going to trance this stuff. Whatever comes out, and I'm going to live with it. And I just trusted and let go. That was one of the most freeing and amazing times for me creatively, and I think I saw that with you when like you started talking about this book and all these ideas that were in there that you still needed to tune into. And it's funny, but no, when we see, that's the cool thing is, I think one of the beautiful things about being as intuitive as we are and tuned into this is you could see the passion and the fire in someone's soul that maybe they don't see themselves, and you could try to ignite it, and I think if we could do that, then we've done our job. We're all magnificent, majestic, divine beings that can create really, really cool stuff. We just have to let go and stop beating ourselves around. That's it.
What's going on with you today, Michael? You're just like freeing yourself. I'm free.
Am,
Did you stop doing meetings?
Peace, love, and happiness today. It's all the Canadian smog. It's affected my brain. I have smog on the brain from Canada.
So no, but you know what it is? You have more, like you seem happier today. What's going on? Why?
You know what? It was, well, I've been in this process of letting go. There's many things I still found myself trying to control and harness that I'm finding myself letting go more and more of that. And you got to understand, like anyone out there on this journey, I ran a pretty large company with many, many different operations, employees, different things. So it really had me in that left brain focus and really focused on, I would say, results. It was a results focused thing that I had to kind of totally pull away from, because as a medium, you are completely in the wrong place if you're having expectations of a certain result, because you're going to screw yourself all up. It's a matter of letting go, being the conduit, trusting, spirit and your processes that you've done the back work on that. But no, I would definitely say, and just connecting with your energy, Kevin's energy, I think it was just a good raw, energetic episode here. And I think we really, I think we talked about some cool stuff, and I really feel good about this conversation.
I think it's awesome. Yeah. Okay, so everyone out there, I hope you like the video and subscribe to the channel. We want to remind you. So I'm going to tell you what's going on here. We're going to have a little hiatus because Michael is leaving town. So we have pushed out guests. So today was 98. Next week, July 23rd, we have Lee Allen II, who's a paranormal investigator. And then we have our live event.
Pelham Rails, July 29th. We want to see everyone out there.
We want to see everybody. So
come hang with us live.
Right. So so we don't know when we're coming back for episode 100.
It's a cliffhanger. Episode 100 is a cliffhanger. And I got some things brewing. That I haven't shared with you yet. So I'm keeping those on the back burner right now. Okay. But I can tell you, episode 100 is gonna be a banger. That's all I'm saying. It is gonna, it's gonna kick butt. It is gonna kick butt. We guarantee it.
So if you want to find us, you can find us on all the media platforms for just the audio version, which is Spreaker, iTunes, Spotify, Apple, Amazon. It's all, we are on every platform. And then you can find us on YouTube, and some episodes are on Rumble. And we hope that you subscribe to our YouTube channel so we can build it up.
Absolutely.
Because it's a slow process with us. I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
Give us a like and follow and a share if you really would. We'd appreciate it. Well, thank you so much.
And you can buy some, we have all sorts of here's a little tote. We have that. We have 3 different logos. If you want to go to Spreadshop, you can find this on all of our social media pages. It says our merch. We have merch. We have to be walking around with our merch on. Okay, before I go, don't forget Michael's CD, and I have books online on Amazon. So I hope everyone has a wonderful night. And I'll see you again next week,
See you
Mike.
next week.
Call me if you
And
need
then the cliffhanger till all the good announcements come. Thank you so much, everyone. We appreciate you. Give Two Psychics Podcast a like and follow. Mary, it was a fantastic episode. Thank you again. I appreciate you. Appreciate what we are bringing to our audience. But thank you for everyone out there. We love and support everything you are doing for us. We appreciate
Yeah.
the support.
Thank you.
And we couldn't be doing it without you. So thank you. And every time we see another like, a follow, a share, it warms our heart. And hopefully we get this awakening just spreading, But thank you so much, everyone, for supporting Two Psychics Podcast. We appreciate
And everybody, thank you for the chat, all the comments, Melissa, Brenna, Suzanne, everyone who joined us tonight, Medium, Jennifer Rose. We had Heather early on. We had a lot of people here making comments. Suzanne Young, and we thank our guests for tonight. So everyone have a great night, and we'll see you again next week. Be well. Love you all. Bye.
Peace.